Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to the second ever edition of Elan's Matchup Maximizer podcast presented by Keeping Karlsson, where I, your host, Elan Dubrovsky, guides you through the schedules for the next 8 days of NHL action to try to help you maximize your chances of winning your fantasy matchups, both for this week by looking at Sunday's games and then next week and seeing which players you're going to want to stream in to get the most games played from the best players to have the best chance to win your weekly head-to-head matchup. And I had a lot of feedback from the Keeping Karlsson patrons from episode 1. I'm going to try to incorporate as much of it as I can. There was a lot of really good suggestions, and I really appreciate everyone listening and helping me along with this journey. I might not be able to get everything like perfect just yet, but you know, this is a work in progress, and I think eventually, if you'll bear with me, we're going to turn this into a really good show. But I think I've got some good stuff, some good advice for you to help you win over this week and next week. So let's start with the Sunday Savior portion of the episode, where I'm going to look at the games happening today, the day you're listening to this on Sunday. If you're in a tight matchup, you may need one key savior ad to, put yourself over the top. And I'm going to look at the games and maybe give you some suggestions. So we've only got 3 games on Sunday, so the pickings may be slim depending on how many people are going after these potential saviors. We've got Vancouver at Carolina, Montreal at New York, and then Arizona at Winnipeg. I would say that the team that might be very tempting to stream from is the New York Rangers, because not only do they play on Sunday, they also play Monday next week, which we've dubbed on the Keeping Karlsson Discord server a wraparound stream. So this player is going to help you not only for this week, but will also help you for next week. You'll definitely drop your Ranger that you stream in after Monday, because then they don't play again until Thursday, and then that's it for the week. So next week, actually, the Rangers have a bad schedule, but they have that game on Monday. So if you have room, Monday is actually a pretty busy day for next week. But if you have room for Monday, that might be a tempting place to go. As far as who you might get, well, they're against Montreal, so there's a pretty good chance. And Montembeault played today, and it was actually very good. So I guess Caden Primo will play, who's I know a high pedigree prospect, but I think that's someone who you'd be pretty happy to stream someone against. So I think that the Rangers are looking tasty. Who are you going to look at, though? Well, Keandre Miller, he's rostered in 50% of leagues. So this is getting to be something that's not even valuable to you, because probably most people listening don't have Keandre Miller available. He's got points in 5 straight. He's great for periffs if you need D. If you don't need D, you'll want to get him, especially if you could just get him for Sunday, Monday. If you're in a super shallow league and he's still available, get him for Sunday, Monday, then reassess. It might be a tough decision at that point of whether to drop him or not. Aside from that, I guess the name that jumps out is Alexis Lafreniere, because Kreider is out with that upper body injury. Lafreniere, only 15% rostered, was playing on the top line with Zibanejad and Kakko in the last game, and also on the top power play. This was versus Dallas. He had 3 shots, no points. It's been, again, a very disappointing season for Lafreniere, but if he's going to get that opportunity again, that I don't know. The pickings are a little slim on the Rangers, and he's going to have the best opportunity of anyone that's going to be available for you to stream. Other options may be like a Philip Hedl. He's been pretty decent lately. Kaapo Kakko's also on that top line. If you need blocks, Braden Schneider's been pretty good. So the Rangers, definitely an intriguing team. Okay, looking at the remaining 5 teams, obviously Carolina is going to be a good place where you're going to go, because that's just a strong team. And they're playing against the Vancouver Canucks. Probably Colin Delia in net. I would not stream in Colin Delia to help you. I think that could potentially get blown up. Yeah, you never know with goalies. But yeah, Carolina, first of all, the defense. Lately, Brady Shea continues to do what he's doing. That's SKJEI. He scored a goal today on Saturday. And also with Pacioretty out once again, Brady Shea got a shot on one of their 1A, 1B power plays. It looks like even he got more power play time than Brent Burns. This Teravainen, Aho, Jarvis, Shea, and Brett Pesce power play had double the time. And yeah, Shea capitalized with a goal. Brett Pesce had an assist, by the way, in this game. This wasn't on the power play, but Brett Pesce now has points in 3 straight, and he has 4 points in his last 3 games. And he also had a 2-assist game just a couple games before that, and 7 shots. So Brett Pesce also coming up. So if you can't get Brady Shea, who's already rostered in 37% of leagues, take a look at Brett Pesce, only 12% rostered. Carolina's a tough schedule the following week, but if you need that Sunday savior, I think these are 2 pretty appealing options. And then for the forwards, Seth Jarvis is always a solid pick, right? He's 28% rostered. You might not be able to get him, but if he's out there playing against Vancouver, playing on a line with Aho and Teravainen, you can't really go wrong. That's a pretty solid stream. And then for your deeper leagues, I don't know, maybe Jesperi Kotkaniemi, only 3% rostered. He had 2 assists versus Columbus a couple days ago, had a goal versus New Jersey, nothing in the game today versus Pittsburgh, but he is on this other power play, the Brent Burns power play, which I would expect to be closer to 50% moving forward. That's also with Svechnikov and Martin Necas. So there's always a chance that Kotkaniemi could get something. He's on the best line at even strength with Stepan and Stefan Nason. But really, if we're looking at available players on Carolina to stream, I guess your other option in a super deep league could be like a Paul Stastny, who's been playing with Necas and Svechnikov recently. Not really doing much with it. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up changing. But those are some options over in Carolina against a weak Vancouver Canucks defense. Then I guess, we've got Winnipeg and Arizona. An interesting matchup. There are a lot of interesting players, I'd say. On Winnipeg, Cole Perfetti had 3 assists on Friday in the win over Pittsburgh. He's in that top 6. He's 19% rostered, so he's, Winnipeg also plays 4 times next week. So I think, Perfetti hasn't been blowing the doors off lately, but hey, that was a good last game. Maybe he can build on that. Adam Lowry, if you need hits, he had 8 hits in that game over Pittsburgh and also 3 shots. So if you can't get Perfetti, maybe you go Lowry. And then you could also go with Brendan Dillon if you need hits or blocks. On the Arizona side, a lot of interesting guys that I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to get a point for you on Sunday. Nick Schmaltz, still only rostered in 19% of leagues. I feel like if you could get Schmaltz, just go get him. If it's a stream, and I think you might end up being convinced to hold him because I think he's very good. Okay, Barrett Hayton has scored in 3 straight games before I guess he went quiet today in the Saturday game, but Barrett Hayton's really started to pick things up, maybe starting to show himself to be probably never going to be worthy of his draft pick, but maybe at least worthy of being a first rounder. I don't even know if that's going a little bit too far, but he's playing on the line with Keller and Schmaltz, so he would definitely be the guy I would stream in if Keller and Schmaltz are not available. And then Dylan Genther, right, came back from the juniors. He's always a fun play, so definitely if you are in a deeper league, he's only rostered in 1% of leagues, he'd be really fun to get. Then who's left here? So then we've got Montreal and Vancouver. So I am not I wouldn't be targeting these teams if I was going to go for someone on Montreal. You might think I'll say Kirby Dach, who's generally playing with Suzuki and Caulfield. But it looks like Jonathan Drouin was playing a bit with Suzuki and Caulfield today. They were doing the line blender versus the Islanders, and I think Drouin is a little intrigued. I guess both of them could be good, right? But Drouin had an assist today, had 3 assists versus Nashville in the last game, so he's someone that could do something. And then if you need hits, Arbor Shekai is always good for like a 7-hit game recently. And then in Vancouver, I guess the one name that jumps out that might be available is Connor Garland, only 7% rostered. He's been playing on a line with Horvat and Miller recently. He has 3 points in his last 4 games. So Connor Garland actually could be a sneaky, but obviously the lines could just end up changing. Like I could see it mid-game versus Carolina. Things won't be going well and they'll switch it up. But for now, Garland is the one that's like available and playing with superstars. So that would be a good stream. So to summarize, the potential Sunday saviors, I think that like Keandre Miller, if you could get him, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, all fun D that I might even consider streaming in over some forwards. Alexis Lafreniere for that wraparound stream, good deployment and playing Sunday, Monday. Jarvis or Kotkaniemi on Carolina if you want someone who has that best matchup. I mean, no offense to the Canucks fans, but I could see that, Connor Dealey's had an okay season. He's also had a couple bad games. So yeah, I think getting a Carolina guy is always good. And then I'd also be into like Perfetti, like I said, any of those Coyotes like Schmaltz, Hayton, or Genther. I think those would all be fun streams. And then, you could go for a goalie. Probably you'll be able to stream in like a Connor Delia or Caden Primo. I'd expect them to get the starts, but those would be definitely start at your own risk. Maybe on Carolina, actually. So Frederick Anderson played today, so I guess either Kochetkov or Niemi will play. If you could get one of those guys, that could end up being a really good stream. So good luck on Sunday, which is today. I hope that this helped you to pull ahead in your matchups. And if it turned out that you didn't need a stream today, I just named a bunch of interesting players. Hopefully you still found it interesting, or you could have skipped ahead. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a timestamp in the show notes of when the second half starts. So if you wanted to just skip the Sunday part, you can. But it was only 10 minutes. Hopefully we had a good time. But okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to look at next week's schedules and give you your tips for how you can maximize those games played and be successful next week. All right, we are back with the Matchup Maximizer podcast, and here we are at the main event of the podcast. I'd say the Sunday Savior, which was, by the way, Brian's name that he threw at me, so he probably would be mad at me if I didn't mention that. But yeah, the Sunday Savior, that was like, the lead-in match, the warm-up band. I don't know, whatever analogy you want to use. But now here we are, where we're going to look at next week's schedule and try to help you stream in the right players that you're going to stream in like right away as soon as you listen to this, and hopefully hold for the whole week, and they'll help you out. Or there might be some strategies where you will stream for a couple days. We'll get to that in a sec. But looking at the schedule, Thursday, Saturday, those are your very busy days. So it's not a typical week where it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Tuesday's actually pretty light. Monday, there's more games than Tuesday. Actually, be careful when you're looking at a guy who's playing Monday. Monday, make sure that you can fit that player in your roster because there are 11 games, which is, busier than usual. That's like more than half the teams. So I'm going to consider for this exercise Monday a light day when I'm telling you like when teams have like how many light days and how many busy days. But yeah, definitely check Monday for yourself. Yeah, Thursday, Saturday are our busy days. And the team that plays the most times, I don't know if it's the best schedule, but the team that plays the most times is Philadelphia with 5 games. 3 of them on off days. So a classic 5-game Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday schedule. So those Flyers, they're going to be playing a lot, and it's a good team to have available for a schedule like this because Philly has a ton of like players who are doing well and that aren't rostered in that many leagues. Like really, like the only players on Philly that are over 50% rostered on Yahoo are like Carter Hart and then Travis Konechny, who like is insane, by the way, and Tony DeAngelo. So maybe everyone else will be available to you. And at this point, like I just kind of feel like I don't want to just like pick a Philly person and tell you like, here's my pick. Take Scott Lawton. He's like, I would definitely take Scott Lawton if you could get him. But honestly, like if you could get Kevin Hayes, if you could get Scott Lawton, if you get Joel Farabee, who's been playing with Konechny in your deeper leagues, take a Noah Cates. And then you've got a JVR who's been playing with Owen Tippett and Morgan Frost. And that line's been pretty solid. So if I had to order them, it's hard not to say Scott Lawton or Kevin Hayes just because they're like really hot right now. But Farabee, Tippett, JVR, Frost. I guess that'll be my order. And then maybe Noah Cates bringing it up the rear. Though, if you need hits, Nicolas Deslauriers. If you could get 5 games of Nicolas Deslauriers in a categories league, you're going to get so many hits. But actually, you know who would, in a points league, if you can fit this guy in on the days that he plays, maybe the most points will be from Sam Ersson, the goalie, right? Because he'll play at least 2 games, probably only 2 games, right? You'd imagine that Hart gets the Thursday game and then Ersson and Hart split those 2 back-to-backs, but he's been really good lately. And Philly doesn't have the worst opponents, right? They play like Boston Monday, so like let Carter Hart take that game. Then probably you get Ersson on Tuesday versus Anaheim. Then they play Chicago Thursday, then Detroit Saturday, and Winnipeg Sunday. So that's good for the goalie, but also potentially good for all these players that you're streaming in. Like I'll take a skater playing against Anaheim on Tuesday, then Chicago on Thursday, and then Detroit on Saturday. So obviously you have to see like when you'll be able to fit people in, but all those Philly guys are tempting. I think there's going to be a run on Philly players very soon if it hasn't happened already. So probably just, if it's in Cupful, like probably grab any of these guys that I mentioned because I'll bet you they're all going to get grabbed at some point. Though, like I said, Philly has the most games, maybe not the most off days because I'm counting 3 off days for them. And then, they also play Thursday, Saturday, which are the busy days. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh has a streamagami 4 light days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, assuming that we're going to count Monday as a light day and you can fit your Pittsburgh player in. You might get all those games while you might only be able to get 3 of those Philly games because probably your roster's already full on Thursday and Saturday. So maybe while everyone else is rushing to get all the Philly players, you can sit back and try to get someone on Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh is like not an amazing team to stream from. Unfortunately, like Ty Smith has been QBing the top power play with Letang out, and we have like no word on when Letang will come back. So, let maybe wait till Monday morning if you can. But yeah, grab Ty Smith if you want a top power play quarterback, right? Playing with Crosby and Malkin, like you could definitely do a lot worse. So, and he's, at first I was a bit skeptical because he was in the minors. He wasn't even on the team for a while, but he's played 7 games now. He has 3 points, which doesn't sound amazing, but he did have a 2-assist game versus Vancouver, and most recently 2 pointless games, but he did have 2 shots and 4 shots in those games, also 3 hits and 2 hits, and even a couple blocks in the game versus Winnipeg. So Ty Smith could be something. I would love if you can get like a Jason Zucker. I think he'd be like the streamer of the week if he's available for you just because of the 4 off-day games. He's rostered in 24% of leagues. So Jason Zucker, probably not available in a deep league like the Cupful, but maybe in your league. He's playing with Malkin. He's like, he didn't get any points in these last couple games either. Pittsburgh only scored 1 goal in each of these games versus Winnipeg and Carolina. But before that, Zucker was on a bit of a run, and he did have 8 hits in that game versus Winnipeg. So at least he gave you something when he wasn't giving you points. And at the end of the day, if you could get a player playing with Evgeny Malkin, who is having another fantastic season, then yeah, the line is Malkin with Raquel and Jason Zucker, and all the other people in the top 6 are probably all rostered. Then if you want me to mention like someone else for you to stream in aside from Rickard Raquel or Ty Smith, because this team has such a good schedule, I don't know. I really can't. Maybe Jeff Carter. He does something sometimes. He had a goal like 4 games ago. So maybe he's like the next best. But okay, after we look at Philly and Pittsburgh, we've got now 4 teams that have 4 games and 3 light days, the same number of light days as Philly. So again, while everyone's rushing to get these Philly guys, I might just take a look at these 4 teams, especially if you're already full on Thursday and Saturday anyways, right? So I'm talking about Boston, Colorado, Ottawa, and San Jose. So I'll just give you a rundown of some of the players I'm interested in on these teams. I think one of maybe the best streams of the week, maybe even better than Jason Zucker, might be Evan Rodriguez. He's only rostered in 19% of leagues, but this guy is on fuego lately. He's been playing on a line with McKinnon and Lehkonen. So, I'm sure you're saying, you had me at McKinnon, okay? And he's been on the top power play with McKinnon, Rantanen, and Lehkonen recently. So he's getting that amazing primo deploymento. I don't know why he's not rostered in more leagues. He also is producing. He has points in 4 straight games since coming back from an injury. He has 10 points in his last 8 games overall. Evan Rodriguez, I'm just going to call it out. He's my streamer of the week, okay? Even ahead of any Philly guy and even ahead of, Jason Zucker. I think Evan Rodriguez might be a hold. So if you could have a guy who might be a hold that also has this amazing schedule where you're going to get 3 light days out of him, come on, and plus it's Monday is against Detroit, Wednesday Calgary, Friday Vancouver, and then Saturday Seattle. So 3 of those games have the potential to be really high scoring. And even against Calgary, Markstrom hasn't even been that amazing this season. So I really like him. And also in Colorado, by the way, if you need D, Sam Girard. Remember him? Remember when he used to be really valuable in fantasy for a short time? He's kind of starting to wake up, and he's only 9% rostered. He's got 4 points in his last 5 games now. So maybe you could bank on Sam Girard keeping this up, potentially. Speaking of banking on things, let's go to San Jose, another one of these teams I told you that has the 4 games, 3 light days. Kevin Labanc had been getting really great deployment, playing with Hurdle and Meyer on the top line. Though actually I'm seeing on Friday, it was Michael Asimont, recent waiver acquisition, that was playing with Hurdle and Meyer. I did not actually expect to see that until I see just now. And so he's played 3 games now with the Sharks, 3, 3, and 4 shots in those games. No points. So I guess maybe I'm not going to recommend Kevin Labanc, and I don't know if I want to recommend Michael Asimont. But if you're in a super, super deep league and you're waiting for me to tell you these 0% rostered guys, I don't know if this is going to last, but I would definitely be interested in someone playing with Hurdle and Meyer. So maybe you could look at Michael Asimont, though really the guy that I'd be very into getting on San Jose. And people already know who I'm going to say because I say it every week. Alex Barabanov, good schedule, playing on the top power play, playing on the line with Couture, and Matt Nieto is the other guy there. But Barabanov gets a point pretty much every single game. He actually got no points in that blowout loss to Edmonton on Friday, but before that he had points in 6 straight. He doesn't do much outside of assists usually, but I think for a streamer you're going to get 3 light days. You could do a lot worse than Barabanov. Then, you look at Boston. So it was Boston, Colorado, Ottawa, and San Jose. Boston and Ottawa are tough teams to stream from. I'm not super interested in any of these guys. You get a Connor Clifton if he's available for your periffs. Boston loaded up their top line versus Toronto, putting that perfection line together with Pasternak, Marchand, and Bergeron. And that's really not good for anyone, right? So if that continues, then I would be wary of grabbing your Pavel Zakas or, even a Taylor Hall in shallower leagues, because I want someone playing with Pasternak or playing with one of those superstars. Craig Smith for a second was playing on the top line. So yeah, maybe Boston is not the best team to go after, but watch the lines, and if they change, then you could go after anyone playing with exposure to one of those 3 superstars. And then in Ottawa, I could say Pinto. He's in the top 6, but he's pretty. We know what Pinto is, right? So you know what you're going to get out of Pinto, which is not much, but you have always the opportunity for him to get a point. If you need hits, Parker Kelly. I just want to throw it out there. One of the suggestions was to throw out more peripheral guys. Parker Kelly is destroying for hits. If you can get 3 off-day games, load up on your hits from Kelly, that could end up being really good for you. But if you need D, by the way, on San Jose, Matt Benning is a pretty good periffs guy. All right, so those are the teams with the best schedules of the week. Though if you want to be really strategic, you might want to consider, if you have room on both Monday and Tuesday, let me tell you some teams that play Monday, Tuesday. Your move could be you grab a Monday, Tuesday guy, okay? Then after Tuesday, you drop that player. Then you pick up a guy playing Wednesday, Friday, and I'm assuming you're full on Thursday already. So all of a sudden with 2 moves, you've gotten 4 games, and then that leaves you open for the weekend to probably you're full on Saturday, but maybe you could stream in a goalie or you could stream in a defenseman. You can make a lot out of this one roster spot if you go with a Monday, Tuesday to start the week. And there's a bunch of teams playing Monday, Tuesday: Anaheim, Buffalo, Columbus, Detroit, Florida, Philly, Seattle. So I'll just throw out some names from these teams that I'd be especially interested in. Seattle has Seattle's scoring so many goals lately. One guy that I just recently added to my cupful team is Eli Tolvanen, who I think that Nashville is starting to really regret giving away for free. They probably should not have done that. Tolvanen has been really great over on Seattle. He's been on this line with Gourde and Bjorkstrand. He may have unlocked Bjorkstrand. Tolvanen had another goal today in the blowout over Chicago. That was his third goal in 4 games. Tolvanen now up to 7 points in his 8 games with Seattle. So they're very happy with this free acquisition that they got. Plus, he's great for hits. So Eli Tolvanen is definitely someone I'd be interested to grab for Monday, Tuesday. And then it might be tough to let him go. I don't know if I'm going to let him go after Monday, Tuesday. I think I might just hold on because he seems like he may just be that good. He's really fitting in there. But yeah, like any of these Seattle guys, if you can get, obviously we've got the top line of Burakovsky, Eberle, Beniers. I assume none of them are available. If one of them is, easy stream for Monday, Tuesday. Then yeah, like I said, Gourde and Bjorkstrand doing well with Tolvanen. And then McCann just had a hat trick playing with Wenberg and Donato. And then you also have Daniel Sprong, who keeps on producing somehow from what looks like the 4th line. He picked up another goal today versus Chicago. That's now 5 points in 5 games. So lots of good options over in Seattle if you want to just grab someone for the Monday, Tuesday, and then you can reassess. You might be like, Daniel Sprong, come on, I don't believe in him. Whatever, take him for Monday, Tuesday. There's a decent chance he'll get a point based on how things have been going, and then you could always drop him if it turns out that this is the moment where, the clock strikes midnight on Daniel Sprong. Detroit, like I said, plays, so Wallman at this point is looking like a must-add, right? He's got points in 4 straight. He's just doing really well. He's a guy who, you're thinking, I didn't even know who this person was, a few weeks ago, but his name is Jake Wallman. He's a member of the Detroit Red Wings, and he takes a lot of shots all of a sudden, hits and blocks every game. So, just grab him for Monday, Tuesday, and I think he might also be someone that you're going to end up deciding you're going to want to hold. And it's a defenseman, right? It's even harder to, get defenseman off at the wire. So if he's somehow still out there, you should probably just run and get him right now. And then, as far as the rest of the Red Wings, there's a decent chance that you can hit on someone. They've been running through the line blender. They've been having some troubles. So, who knows who's going to be playing with Dylan Larkin next? Lewis and Jeremy were talking about Robbie Fabry on the last episode of the Short Shifts podcast. And so he could be interesting. Tyler Bertuzzi has done nothing in his 3 games. He's dropped only 30% rostered on Yahoo. So maybe now would be a good time to grab Tyler Bertuzzi. You might be thinking, why would you recommend someone who's pointless in 3 games? But maybe he's due. Maybe he's finally going to get back to what he was doing. Maybe he gets back with Larkin. So he could be, and Kubalik, Rasmussen, watch the lines on Monday, see what the practice lines are, maybe grab one of these Red Wings. On Columbus, I'll just mention quickly, Adam Boqvist now has assists in 3 straight games. So he's someone I've completely written off, and I guess I'm going to have to start reassessing. Maybe I'll ask him on the Sunday show with Brian, the mega episode, if he's into Adam Boqvist now. Okay, so those are some guys playing on Monday, Tuesday, and then after that you can switch to Wednesday, Friday, like I said. So the teams that play Wednesday, Friday would be Colorado, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, and Vancouver. So I've already told you some players on those teams. Vancouver, if you skip the Sunday Savior section, then I was mentioning that Connor Garland's in a good spot. Who knows if he'll still be in that good spot on Wednesday, but he's someone that could be interesting. And then again, Colorado, you probably should have already added Evan Rodriguez. You should have already paused this podcast and added Evan Rodriguez. Don't wait till Wednesday to get him after streaming in your Monday, Tuesday guy. Okay, let me look quickly at the teams with the worst schedules of the week. Carolina only plays Thursday, Saturday. So that's no light days at all. So you might have Carolina players on your bench. If you streamed in Seth Jarvis for Sunday, definitely drop him after that, right? And then it's going to be a tougher decision for a Brady Shea or a Brett Pesce just because defense is harder to find. These two are both doing really well and now getting this all of a sudden maybe top power play time. So, but depending on your league, you probably just drop them and then pick them up again later. And it might be time to even consider a Teuvo Teravainen. I still believe in him. He's such a good player. He just has been so good for so long. It's so weird. But now, yeah, if he's going to not even get in your roster next week, maybe now's the time to finally let go. Then maybe try to get him back. Then there's a bunch of teams with only one light day. Edmonton, LA, Minnesota, Montreal, New York Rangers, St. Louis, and Toronto. So, just running through quickly, on LA, that second line of Arvidsson, Iafallo, and Deneau are always should I hold them? Should I drop them? So maybe this is the week where you decide to roll the dice and drop them, get someone who'll give you more games. Minnesota, I'm keeping Sam Steele, okay? I know everyone's probably thinking, okay, finally now should I drop Sam Steele because they have a bad schedule? No, he's on the top line. Just hold on to him. Probably for the rest of the year. Montreal, I'm only holding Suzuki and Caulfield. Rangers are pretty straightforward. Maybe just Keandre Miller is the tough call. He plays Monday, right? And then he plays again Thursday. So at least get the Monday, Thursday, and then maybe reassess. St. Louis, I have Colton Parayko on my couple team. I'll finally let him go. He had a couple of good games, but nothing lately. And then Toronto, probably Calle Yarncroc is the one that people might have a little bit of a tough time letting go of just because he's in a good spot in the lineup. But at this point, he hasn't even been doing much there. And now Toronto doesn't have the best schedule. He'll probably be on your bench for all the games except for one. So, don't get mad at me if he ends up having another goal or an assist on a John Tavares goal or something, but I think you could let him go. Okay, so to recap all of my players that I was recommending streaming in for their good schedules next week, I'll just say quickly, the Philly guys. Any Philly guy's going to get you a lot of games. I didn't even want to pick one, but I guess it's hard not to like Scott Lawton with the hot streak that he's on. And then Sam Ersson, if you want to grab a goalie. And then some other players that really jump out to me, Evan Rodriguez, Eli Tolvanen, Alex Barabanov, Jake Wallman, Adam Boqvist. Those are two defenseman options. Boqvist, I still don't really believe him. I'm just throwing him out there because he is on a hot streak, and Columbus does have a good schedule next week. And then there were some other names, but there's the summary because that was one of the pieces of feedback I got that people want a summary at the end. Okay, well, I've just been rambling for a half an hour. Not even, actually. I'm pretty proud of myself. This is a shorter episode, okay? We're looking at like around a 26-minute runtime at the end here. So hope you enjoyed this edition of the Matchup Maximizer podcast. Let me know what you think. Tweet at us at Keeping Karlsson, or if you're a patron of Keeping Karlsson, we've got a channel, the Matchup Maximizer channel, over on our patron Discord, where people have been giving me lots of feedback and advice. And it's just really fun to chat with the patrons. And if you're not a patron of Keeping Karlsson, come hang out, okay? Like $5 a month, you support the show. You support my midnight ramblings. It's actually 12:42 right now on, I guess, Sunday morning. And I still have to prepare for Sunday night's podcast. So it's going to be a late night for me. So come on, throw me $5. Help me out, okay? So keepingkarlsson.com/patron. And then you get a lot of good perks there, including joining our patron Discord community. Also, we're going to be doing a patron cast this week. So stay tuned if you're a patron. I think it's going to be either Wednesday or Thursday. Brian and I will confirm that very, very soon and then make an event in the Discord. So, okay, with that, good luck in your matchups. Hopefully, I will help you win with these maximization strategies. So, yeah, good luck, and catch you on the mega episode in less than 24 hours. Bye.